Now, Liverpool's search for Arne Slot's successor continues with Andoni Iraola the front runner. Our reporter Alan Myers has more for us at Anfield.
Well, yes, we're not expecting anything imminent here. We don't expect anything in the next 24, possibly 48 hours. But Liverpool will know that they need to get on with the job to bring Andoni Iraola, who is the front runner for this job here at Anfield, get it done, because we've seen interest from Leverkusen, we've seen interest from AC Milan for the 43-year-old Spaniard, and that won't go away. You know, it will be there. So Liverpool will see the pressure to get it done, get it over the line, and not only that, he'll want to be in to get his transfers sorted out and what he wants to bring into the club as far as recruitment is concerned. There's the World Cup, of course, which complicates things this summer. So there will be an urgency, in a sense, as long, you know, as well as getting it done properly. There will be an urgency to make this happen before the World Cup starts in a week's time. But we've also heard from Arne Slot today, who sent a letter to the Liverpool fans via the Liverpool Echo. He talked about how much he would cherish the welcome that he got here at Anfield, and how important it was, and how emotional a time it was as well. Remember, they had many things happen in this time, in his short reign here at Anfield, and he talked about the importance of that 20th league title and what it will mean to the city, as well as what it means to Liverpool Football Club. And of course, he will be fondly remembered. There's no two ways about that for that. But that also makes you think, well, you know, there will be a lot of pressure coming on Andoni Iraola if he is appointed, of course, because managing Bournemouth is very different to managing Liverpool. Arne Slot knows about that pressure. Finishing fifth, not good enough. But we do expect to see an appointment in the short term.
Former Premier League manager Harry Redknapp told us that he believes Iraola is the right man for that job at Anfield.
I think he's fantastic. He's done an amazing job at Bournemouth. He really is. I think if he goes to Liverpool, he'll get them, you know, he'll give the place a real boost again, and I think he'll do a great job there, and they could be back challenging again next year. I said all along that if Arne Slot went, that he'd be the man to take over. Richard Hughes brought him to Bournemouth in the first place, probably when no one had ever heard of him. And now Richard is working at Liverpool and has a very powerful position there. So it all tied in for me, and you know, you put two and two together and it certainly added up to four. So I can see him going to Liverpool. I thought once he decided he was going to leave Bournemouth, I always felt Liverpool was probably his destination.
Well, Iraola might be the one to bring the heavy metal football Mo Salah had called for back to Anfield. If you compare Liverpool and Bournemouth's key metrics last season, Iraola's team had more high turnovers, won more duels and won more possession as well. They also made more tackles and won more fouls in attacking areas. So, do the fans think that Iraola would be a good appointment?
I think it's a really exciting signing if it does happen. I think it would really benefit us. I think the end of Slot, I think it was time for him to go. I think it was a good moment for him. And Iraola, I think the way he plays for Bournemouth now, I think it'd be really exciting football if he came to us.
He's a good manager. He done really well for Bournemouth. He guided Bournemouth into the Europa League. And I'm not saying Bournemouth are a small club, but it's the first time they got in Europe, and that was the man that guided them. So I think he'd be a good fit for us, his style of play. He plays that aggressive, technical football that we're looking for.
Is attacking football. So I mean, obviously that's what the fans want. That's what I want. I'm a fan. That's exactly what I want. So yeah, bring him on.
Yeah, I think it'll be big expectations, but I think the best part about going into Liverpool manager is you're going to get support straight away, and I think instantly he'll receive that support. And I think as long as he starts off well, I think it's going to go on well, and I think we're going to be behind him for most of the way.
Well, Bayer Leverkusen are also interested in Iraola. So let's head to Germany to speak to Florian Plettenberg. Florian, good afternoon. Thank you so much for your time. Start by telling us about Leverkusen's interest in Iraola, please.
Thank you for the warm welcome. Good afternoon from Munich. Yes, for today we can say there are no news regarding an official rejection from Iraola to Leverkusen. And they were waiting for his final answer. And I had contact with Leverkusen last night because we have already mentioned and reported the fact that Philippe Luis was the desired one. But for special reasons, he will not join Bayer Leverkusen. He rejected them in order to join AS Monaco. And then they were heading to Andoni Iraola. They have meetings, there were talks, there were negotiations, but they were always aware of the fact that Liverpool could join the race for Iraola. To be honest, Leverkusen, they expect the rejection from Iraola because they are 100% keen that he's in concrete negotiations with Liverpool. Sorry.
So do you think it's a formality that he's going to join Liverpool?
Difficult to say. Let's wait for the final negotiations. But to be honest, I expect him to join Liverpool instead of Leverkusen.
Let's look at some of the players now. Yan Diomande has been linked with the move to Liverpool. Will he leave RB Leipzig this summer, do you think?
It's possible from the player side. He has joined the big agency Rogue Nation, and they have a clear plan for the player, and the player has also a clear plan for his career. And the plan is to join a special top club already in the next summer transfer window. And we also have to look at him at the World Cup. But there are two sides. On the other hand, there is RB Leipzig with the big boss Jürgen Klopp and Oliver Minzlaff, and they have the clear plan, the 100% plan to keep him for another year. They want to extend his contract. They want to adjust his salary. They want to make him to the next big thing within RB Leipzig. And I had a call with one of the big bosses last night, and they told me, stay relaxed. He will stay for 100%. But on the other hand, I had also contact with Liverpool, and Liverpool is telling me they are pushing to sign Diomande. They want to sign him in this summer transfer window, and they are working on the verbal agreement, but there are no agreements yet with the player or other clubs.
And Arne Slot was superb in dealing with that at the start of the season. I think Don mentions in his piece the way he spoke in pre-season. Yeah. At Preston, was it, I think?
Yeah, he did an interview with the club TV channel beforehand. And listen, I don't care what people think about him for the results. He had a situation that nobody could. There's no preparation for what happened last July, and how he managed the club through that situation, with the dignity, with the care, with the sensitivity of handling it all, while reminding people what was important. That to me says more anything about him as about a football coach. You can think about him as you want as a football coach, but as a man, the dealings that I've had with him, people who know him far better than I, he's a good man. And some of the vitriol that's come to him this season has been eye-opening. People are fully entitled to want managerial change over results. I get that. I would not say anything about that. Anybody's wish for change, but for personal abuse and some of the things that have happened this season, I find it unedifying. The
way he managed that also crosses over into football a bit, because you look at the way he managed following Jurgen Klopp in. Yeah. Not only winning a title, but just coming in and not trying to be Jurgen Klopp.
Klopp had finished third the season before as well.
Exactly, not trying to, sort of play to the Klopp and win them over by trying to be Jurgen Klopp, being his own man, and not just winning it with Klopp's team. That's the thing that's thrown at him constantly. He made significant changes that season.
Gravenberch at 6 was a big one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Talked about,
yeah, and he was very respectful as well when he came in. He was the first game that Liverpool played at Anfield under him was against Brentford, and he almost didn't want to go onto the pitch at the end of it because he felt like, I'll get me, I'll find my feet and whatever. There was no sort of giving it all that. And the more that Liverpool won, the more confidence that he got, the more you could see how proud he was to do it. But I'd just like to make a point on the players as well, if I can. Yeah. As Darmash alluded to with Jamie, it might have changed since we've been on air, but by the time we did come here, nobody had said anything about him, which is their prerogative and whatever. But I would just hope that if Liverpool are signing players this summer, they've got the attitude that when they get into the building, they realise how far they've got to step it up again. Liverpool isn't a place where you come in and go, made it, I'm doing all right here.
The departure of Salah and Robertson going to have another effect on the dressing room? Because Virgil van Dijk now is the elder statesman.
And Alisson.
Are they going to have the? I mean, Alisson is possibly going to.
I think Alisson will have to stay now. They They cannot let that happen.
Can we pick up, Dom, just, and I'll come to you, Carl, on this, on the replacement widely thought to be Andoni Iraola. Jonathan Northcroft writing here links the connection with Bournemouth and Richard Hughes as well. Bus coach is one of the brightest I've ever met. He favours chaos over order, Klopp over Pep, and dreams of owning a bookshop. It's interesting, isn't it, how chaos and order in a bookshop? But there was a reference here to when Gary O'Neill was let go by Bournemouth. Calmly, Hughes, then Bournemouth sporting director, sat down O'Neill and explained he's done a great job, but Iraola was available and he can take us to another level. Is this effectively potentially hinging on the fact that Iraola has the next level that he can go to as well?
Yeah,
with
very much so. I believe he's a fantastic coach, and I believe in terms of the current status of the Premier League, which is man-to-man, marking schemes, set-piece organisation, I think Iraola is particularly well-suited to take to that next level. I think he'll scale up. There have been Bournemouth games where Bournemouth are dominating possession and they look very, very good. Injuries will be interesting because very often you sort of see the Bournemouth player suite and there's 4 or 5 gentlemen there with the moon boot and soft tissue injuries. So the medical team at Liverpool needs to be on job. The recruitment team needs to be on job. But I think as a coach and the staff Iraola will bring in with him, if I'm for Manchester United persuasion, I'm now looking at Liverpool going, oh, they're going to be a problem next season.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting because I've looked at the last week.
I am more afraid of.
But I've looked at it from the last point of view, and I wonder whether this is. I wonder whether this has influenced. Look, the FSG will have had the ultimate say on it. Don't kid yourself that they haven't. I wonder whether they have looked at the last week and gone, Arsenal strong, really going to, they're going to strengthen again. Man City will speak for themselves for the depth that they've got, regardless of who is going to be the manager. Chelsea with a free runner with Xabi Alonso.
Explain more. Sort of why do the sacking now when Xabi Alonso was available earlier?
They were never going to go for Xabi Alonso.
Tell me more about it.
Well,
they just didn't fancy him.
It's clearly something's gone back from when he always made it clear that when he was at Leverkusen, he was never going to go at the end of that first season when Klopp was there. He always wanted to stay for a second year in Germany to see the project through. And then the land had changed. Then Slot had come in and done what he'd done. If Alonso and Iraola share an agent, so they clearly know what is happening in the landscape. And Xabi must have known that Liverpool were never going to go for him. Otherwise, that's why he's gone to Chelsea.
Which becomes a lottery. So to take PSG to 90 minutes and extra time, there was very little between the two teams. Okay, PSG shaded it, possession chances, but no, Arsenal are not far away. And next year, as I say, certainly the Premier League, they'll be the team to beat again next season.
Mikel Arteta's contract expires next year. Do you think it's a priority for the club this summer to extend that?
I'm sure they will, yeah. I'm sure continuity is key, and it's something that doesn't happen too often in football anymore. It's like a revolving door now, and for football managers, they come and go. But Arteta has done a great job at Arsenal, so I'm sure they'll be keen to keep him long term, obviously.
And it's not all about getting rid of managers. West Ham did get relegated on the final day of the season, but they've said they're going to back the manager. How important is it that Nuno is there in the Championship next year?
Yeah, well, they give them the chance to bring the club back. But it's like, listen, we all know what the game's like. If by Christmas they're not up there in the top 2 or 3, he's going to come under severe pressure. That's how it works. The game is, the teams that come up, the managers do incredible jobs to get their teams up. This Frank Lampard brings up Coventry. But, we're not silly. You have to understand, if by Christmas time there's drift or struggling at the bottom of the league, Frank will come under. It's crazy. People judge you. You need good players, good squads, and that is the unfair thing about it. You can come up, and once you come up, keeping up is so difficult. Sunderland did it this year. They invested heavily, built a new squad, did a great job in doing that. Leeds did well. Burnley came up. Scott Parker did a great job bringing them up, but he didn't have the squad to keep them up, and there's nothing he can do. He can only do his best with what you got. So recruitment is key. West Ham have got to keep their best players. They need to keep Bowen, Somerville, better play if they can, and make sure they come back at the first attempt. The longer you stay in the Championship, the more difficult it gets. And West Ham are a massive club. They they want to be, and they deserve to be. They should be in the Premier League.
And you mentioned Frank Lampard there. I think it's 30 years since you made those comments about him saying this guy's going right to the very top, and he's back in the Premier League as a manager again.
Yeah, fantastic for Frank. You know, I mean, what a player he turned out to be. You know, when you look at his record, it's just incredible. And he's doing the same in management. To take Coventry up this year, I watch all the games, and I thought, well, Coventry could make the playoffs. They could finish 6th this year. Looking at it, I thought Ipswich at the start, Middlesbrough, there were teams there that I thought, well, but to win the league as they did was an amazing achievement, what he's done at Coventry. And say he's going to have his work cut out next year because they go into a different division, obviously, different class. But if anyone can keep them up, it'll be Frank. And that is the key, staying in the division. If they can keep up, that is a massive, massive achievement.
And you mentioned just now winning at the London Stadium. Has Nuno been in touch after your victory in Soccer Aid yesterday?
No. That was great last night to get a win, though. It was good fun, you know, and we all come together to raise money for UNICEF, and that's why we were there. And that's why I'm here today, to raise money for the homeless in London and in England. We have to help. There's lots of people at the moment who are homeless, sleeping on the street, good people. I got particularly friendly with a young guy down where I live in Bournemouth who's an ex-soldier. You know, he's been out fighting for his country. Now he's sleeping rough on the streets. It's sad. They need help. They need support. That's why that's what we're here to talk about today here. So it's important.
Yeah, well, as always, it's great to see you, Harry.
Good.
Plenty of